It's simple. If you want to be the top 10% of husbands that get their wife back after she threatens divorce, then you have to do what those top 10% do. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but there is so much misinformation out there on how to get your wife back after she wants a divorce that is honestly complete BS, especially because most advice is just to improve yourself. If you think about it, when you search how to get your wife back, the majority of the advice out there just won't work because by definition, in order to be successful or get your wife back, you must do what others would not do. And to prove it to you, in this video, I'm gonna give you a powerful reverse rule that will be the first step in getting her back so that you can wake up to her every single morning with gratitude and peace in your home again. You'll hear so many experts out there who actually haven't worked with husbands in divorce situations, and they'll tell you the advice you just need to improve yourself. I mean, you'll see comments on those videos and it'll say, get on your purpose, best the best you can, stay in the gym and get your bread up. Look, yes, you should work on yourself. That I can agree on. But what to work on is where we differ. If you think simply making more money and staying in the gym, getting a better body will get her back, you're gonna live a pretty lonely existence. You see, things like money issues, sex, and chores are branch problems, not root ones. But Josh, when I think about all the things she complained about over the years, I mean, it's those things. So if those get fixed, she'll be happy, right? This is a fundamental misunderstanding of how women operate in relationships. How do I know this? Literally every man who gets caught off guard with a divorce says a version of this. Josh, I don't get it. I gave her the cars, the vacations, the kids, the homes. I was never physically or verbally abusive to her. I mean, all her friends and my family, they all say that she should be lucky to be with me. You see, you are looking at the reasons why your wife should stay with you from a male brain, logical, rational perspective, not an emotional one. Women have emotional needs that they have to get met that no amount of vacations, jewelry, trips around the world can fill. Branch problems are what you think logically and objectively what the issue actually is. But deep underneath is the root and the real cause of why she wants to leave you. You know, few husbands are actually not even able to identify what the root issue actually is, which explains that 90% of guys who fail. However, identifying the root cause is just the first step. And if you fail to take the next step, you can actually make things a lot worse. Let me tell you through a story. You see, I run groups in the program with the guys I help. And one of the guys, he came into the program, he was very fresh. He jumped into the online course. He understood the information about the real root cause and he was just stoked, as you can tell how I'm interpreting how he was, to talk about it with his wife. And he brought it up with her, and guess what happened? I mean, things got worse, obviously. And I told him, I was like, dude, it's like you have all these materials to build this home and you have no blueprint. So you just start stacking bricks, the house is gonna fall apart. It's just really gonna be destroyed. Look, your wife sees you as a villain. If you take all these negative and positive emotional interactions you guys have with each other, you have a lot more negative. Identifying the root cause is good, but in order to address those deeper underlying issues, what you must do first is shift this perspective, put more positive emotional investments. So she's at stage 3 out of 5, which there's a video right there, and at the very end I'll show you that video as well, that you get to. It's called the stage of neutrality. You see, once you have enough negative and positive investments in her subconscious mind, her emotional mind, she feels more positively toward you. And when you become a source of positive emotions for her, she's more willing to work on those issues because she wants to move toward you instead of moving away. It's just that simple. Now, I know the obvious question you're asking right now, Josh, how do I get to stage 3? How do I put her in that positive perspective where she wants to work on those issues? Well, there's loads of videos on the channel, but let me give you something called the reverse rule that's gonna be really helpful for you. This rule states that the more effort you put into something, the worse it actually becomes. And this is crazy because as a successful guy like yourself that I know you are, all this effort you put into your career and all these other areas of success, it led to better results. But with your wife and emotions and relationships, it's the exact opposite. I'll let Mark Manson explain a little bit in his video.
And then for emotional and psychological experiences that only exist inside our own minds, that is where the inverted curve kicks in. The more you pursue happiness, the further away from it you get. The more you try to feel confident, the more you question yourself and feel insecure. The more you wish to be loved, the more your neediness repels people around you. The constant desire to be free from constraints is itself a constraint.
This harkens back to the first mistake of the value lie, that if you put in all this effort and energy and just dates and shower her with love and smother her, she's gonna see that you care again. But it has the opposite effect. Now, if your wife is, I think I know your wife, if she's a little bit stubborn, independent, you love that about her, she's fierce, she's a go-getter, she's kind of avoidant with her emotions, maybe had a lot of trauma growing up, like pretty close. What happens is that whenever she's in this defensive mode, her tactic is to avoid. And by you pursuing, it makes her go more into avoidance. And it actually, what it shows her subconscious brain or her emotional mind, whatever you want to call it, is that by doing those things, you are showing more low value. And it's pretty repulsive to her actually. Now that you know all these mistakes, what are the 3 things you must do instead? Let's kind of summarize everything up. Step number 1 is you must have a no contact for a specific set amount of time depending on your situation. For example, some guys, the wife has moved out or she's in the house, the no contact rule applies differently to each situation. Number 2, you must gain that proper insight on the real reasons, the real issues that are causing her to actually pull the marriage apart. And it's not all those things that you initially think they are. And then lastly, you must shift her to stage 3 in the 5 stages of reconciliation before you address those underlying issues and she can trust you again. Now, you can do this on your own if you would like, but you guys also know that you can set up a free call with my team down below by clicking the link. Thanks for watching the video. Watch the one right here I talked about with the 5 stages if you want to watch that one. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.